Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Wealth and Wellness Report. I'm your host, Diego. Today we have another amazing guest, Dominique Velasques. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. I'm really excited to have a conversation with you because we're partners in real estate. You're Daniel's wife who was on the show. We met through the real estate community, Sub 2, and have just hit it off as friends and stuff. So I've been wanted to have a conversation with you because you're also an entrepreneur and you've been running your own show. You're a mother. You've got business. You're in the corporate world. You got a lot of things going, and I'd love to dig in. So maybe for the audience, you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. Well, you hit on a lot of things, but I am a mom of two. I just had a baby, my second child, 6 weeks ago. So it's like life is just a little crazy right now, but yeah. I love to live in the wild. But I wear multiple hats. I was born to a single mom. I have an identical twin sister, which I think you mentioned in Daniel's podcast. He's a quadruplet. I'm a twin,
That's right.
Which we waited so long to have children in case there was 8, which, by the way, that is not the math. We only had one, and now we have our second. But I started off as worked with my mom a little bit, floral designer, for 15 years.
And she had her own business?
She had her own business. She had a smoke shop that she changed into a clothing shop. Always had lottery. So we're big gamblers. I know it's but that's a gamble of life, I guess. She always takes risks, which is why I take risk. But yeah, so single mom. I was born in Memphis, went to Lebanon for a few years, and then came back at a young age to California. I think I was 6 or 7, so for the first grade. So it's just early childhood.
So the family business was in Memphis?
It was here.
Oh, okay.
I know.
When did you come out here from Memphis?
We were here at the age of 2.
Okay.
And then went to Lebanon.
So early on in life, you came out to the San Francisco Bay Area? Is that where the
Redwood
business
City?
is?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. My mom ran stores in San Carlos, which San Carlos is such a cute downtown. So she was on San Carlos Avenue.
Awesome.
And then,
and is that where you got the majority of your kind of entrepreneurial tendencies?
I definitely seeing a single parent work as hard as they do. I grew up my mom running everything. I still ask her today. I was like, how did you cook for us and take us to school and do all those things and work and run your own business, which running your own business, having a storefront, running your own business is different than doing things from home. She was always away, but still always there. How? I still don't know. She
sounds like a magical woman.
Yeah, she really is.
So she had 3 kids, then single mom, running the show, running the household.
Yeah.
You have Daniel, so you're not a single mother.
No.
But in terms of having children and running a business or, going into the work arena, how has that been now that you've got a second child?
Well, I go back to work in 2 weeks. I will start with that. Mm-hmm. Working with having a partner, first of all, I will say having a partner like Daniel, who's always present, and he's with our first child, Sebastian, all the time. He picks him up, drops him off. Partnership is important. I will just say that. I always think what would I do without him? And I think about that often. If I didn't have him around, how would my life be? And I will say stressful. It's stressful as it is, but having a partner who's there with you and supports you, and kind of pushes you is always great. Going to work, which I work for corporate, which was never the thing I wanted to do. That was something that I fell into in 2020 because it was a comfortable thing because, COVID, and you didn't want to do things on your own. No one wanted flowers in their house. No one wanted you in their house. So, for you, actually, people did want you in their house because they wanted to remodel.
Sure.
But people flowers is usually the first thing that people don't want to do. Corporate, we stopped our corporate businesses. When I worked with Patrick, who was my first floral experience, we had different corporations that we worked with that we did their flowers and events, but that's the first thing to go during COVID. So anyway, I had to fall into corporate for safety.
So you coming out of, so tell us a little bit about, because there's I want to talk about the transition from running the family business and then doing your own deal. Was there something inside as you were going through your day to day with the family business that got you to transition to do your own thing?
So
or was there school in there? Like,
oh yeah.
How did it go?
So when I went after high school, I went to San Jose State University. Go Spartans! But I wanted to go into like business, and back then they didn't have. I didn't know what course I wanted to do in business. You can go into many different concentrations, but I did entrepreneurship, which was the first year they opened it, which was great.
Oh, amazing.
My brother, who's 6 years older than me, also went to San Jose State. And did entrepreneurship. So I kind of had him to fall back on. But in 2011 is when we started, Freddie, my brother, started Le Shop, which is a cannabis delivery service in San Jose. So that was like my first official family business that I was a part of. Helping my mom when I was 13 or 14 was like helping her sell lottery or like stock up or do something really, really minimal. And then working for Patrick, I just kind of helped support. I put in a lot of hours during high school with him and helped support. Like, he's an older gentleman, much older. So he wasn't tech savvy. So I just did all the techie things, the invoices, the communication with people. He's from Brooklyn. I don't know if you've met anyone from Brooklyn, but they're tough asses. Yeah. And he always said, like, you know, all the things that he says, like, what's the thing that I always resonates with me? Like, you'll sleep when you're dead. If I want to shit from you, I'll squeeze your head. So like a lot of things, like having someone like from Brooklyn who's a tough ass to kind of push you to be, like he always inspired me to like, just do it. Quote unquote, don't make love to it, just do it. With anything. So like his push, seeing my mom, like, she's a single mom. Of course, I can do it. My brother started many businesses, but the one I was a part of from scratch and have it grow was like amazing. So all these three people that influenced me, these three people all had started something from nothing and just kept going with it. So I wanted to do my own thing because why not? And what's the worst thing? You're going to fall. You're going to lose some money. Like, money comes and goes. Like, really, you can make more.
There was something there that you felt like you really wanted to do, you know, like it's not somebody just that, you know, somebody just doesn't wake up in the morning and say, I want to be an entrepreneur, because you're literally banging your head against the wall all day long. And that is really hard for a lot of people. So what did your upbringing teach you about hustle and resilience and showing up?
You got to do it no matter what. No matter what, you just have to do it. You got to get up, push through. It's going to be a good day or it's going to be a bad day. You just have to get it done. You are in charge of yourself. You have to hold yourself accountable. That's actually something I still struggle with, holding yourself accountable for things. Because like, if you don't do it, who's going to do it for you? With all the struggles that my mom went through in her life, which she's been through a lot of struggles and I've witnessed it all and I've been part of all of that. You got to keep going forward. You just got to keep going. So I will say, like, I've seen my mom open and run her business and close it. I've seen Patrick run his business and close it. I've been a part of my brother opening and closing it. And it's a beautiful journey. And like, there are ends to things. Does not mean that it's the end of the thing. So you just have to start over if you fall. I don't know if like the challenge for me starting like Dose of Unique, which is my own little flower company, was just getting it done. That was my 30th birthday present for myself. Dates and numbers mean a lot to me. And I started and I went to City Hall on my 30th birthday and I opened my company that day because that's like the gift I wanted to give myself. And of course, COVID hit and I didn't like do much with it that year, but just getting started, just pushing yourself. So
do you think some of the struggles growing up, because that doesn't sound easy, you know, like living with two siblings, mom working, single mom, you know, you didn't speak English either, right? You had multiple languages that you were speaking at the time and English wasn't your native language. So that sounds like a huge challenge. What was it like navigating multiple languages and cultures as a child?
So when we were brought up here in the United States for like a few years, went to Lebanon and spoke Arabic and French as our first language. And then we came back to the United States at the age of 6 or 7 to learn English in the first grade. Having a twin who was your partner in crime the whole time, I will say, is a huge flex because we always had each other and we always spoke languages together. Of course, it's challenging to go from being comfortable in your own country, like Lebanon, and you had people who spoke your language and then coming here first grade and learning something new. But really what made it easy was having my twin by my side. But learning a new language, it's like most people who speak multiple languages, like we're teaching our child Spanish and a little bit of Arabic, is like English will come as it comes. We're really lucky that we had each other. So I'm always like, that's always a flex for me. But coming from a different country to learn something new, I remember not really being, I mean, we were bullied. I mean, I feel bad to say that, but like we were bullied when we were younger.
Sure.
But we had each other. So it's like, it never felt like that was
such, not only a flex, but I think a superpower because, you know, I was kind of in the same boat too. Like I was born here, and Spanish was my first language, like until I was about 5 years old. And then I had to learn how to speak English. And I remember being teased a lot and it being really challenging to communicate with friends, you know? And so like, I can only imagine what it would be like to have like another person that looks like me, talks like me. It's just, when you get bullied, you know, it's 2 versus 1, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Supporting that cannabis startup is no joke. What were the most valuable lessons you learned through that journey?
That was, I will say, one of my favorite journeys. First off, cannabis was not yet legal. It was not illegal, but it was not yet fully legal like it is today. So there's this like adrenaline about doing something that you knew was it's okay to do what you're doing. First off, you needed certification, a license to buy it.
Like a prescription?
Thank you, a prescription.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the word? I'm trying to come up with the word.
Those back in the day.
Back in the day, you had to go to a doctor. And mind you, it was really easy to get, especially in San Jose. But you needed that to even get cannabis delivered to your house. It was so cool. First off, I love working with my brother. I learned so much from him. He's a role model to me. But second, it was such a fun job. I had to learn the streets, the map. I had to learn
logistics.
The logistics was so much fun to me. I loved running our team. I think at the beginning, we had a team of 2 or 3 drivers, and just like the adrenaline of people calling and the adrenaline of having to like get everything situated for people. Back then, my brother was also growing. So learning the aspect of growing cannabis was a lot of fun. But not just like fun. It was also like a cool challenge. I was 21 at the time, and I just wanted to do something that I knew it meant something to other people. Like we had while people got prescriptions for fun and because they wanted to smoke weed, there were a lot of people that needed it, and that felt so good to talk to those people. I connected with so many folks that actually needed cannabis, and I felt so good going to their house. Yes, I used to deliver as well, which
so
was...
you wore multiple hats.
Yeah, multiple hats, and I loved every single hat I wore.
Dispatch, driver, accountant, bookkeeper.
Yep.
Wow. So back to navigating Daniel, the kids, dose of unique. You know, what's the day-to-day look like for you guys?
Good question, because every day is different. There's always somewhat of a routine because we have a toddler who's in daycare. Now we have a newborn. But before the newborn, when I was fully working, we would, Daniel, again, having a partner is so important because imagine having to do this. Especially him.
He's amazing.
He really is. But every day we'd, of course, have to get Sebastian ready, take him to daycare. That's usually the start, and Daniel usually does that while I get ready for work. And then I do work a full-time job at a corporation. It's what we consider now a startup, but we can talk about that in a little bit. But that was a great that is a great company that I work for right now. I try to, aside from working my 9 to 5, after 5 o'clock, it's mommy time. So it's like food, dinner, time with Sebastian, especially since he's in daycare. The only time we have with him is weekends, mornings and evenings, which can be hard. But I know the value that daycare adds for us because they teach him Spanish. He hangs out with people he likes. We trust them. So after mommy and Sebi and Daniel time, then at night, either it's try to if I'm not doing something like right now, I spend a lot of time pumping, but I spend time like either learning something new. Dose of Unique is something that I stopped for a little bit during the pandemic and I picked up again. So promoting that, taking on jobs here and there. So I told myself in 2025, I wanted to do a few weddings every quarter. So I've accomplished that. So really just like trying to set little goals for having the multiple hats I wear. Unfortunately, my time is taken, not unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. I'm very, very grateful for working a full-time job. But 9 to 5 is a long time to spend every single day, and it takes away from other things. Yeah. When you do something, you're saying no to something else.
Right.
So me giving up my time or me using my time for corporate is me taking time away from my family, taking time away from my current businesses or my other businesses. So
is it impacting your ambition at all, or is it driving you even harder because it's a lot?
It is a lot. When I first met you, I feel like this was a year ago. I was sitting with you, and we actually came to meet with you because you had all these inspiring ideas about how to work with life insurance. And I remember you and I met on that, and maybe that's a different conversation for another time. But I will say, we sat here, and I told you, I don't want to be doing corporate anymore. And it was something that was a year ago, and I'm still here a year later. So I will say, while I learn a lot, it's very comfortable. I know what to expect. I'm there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I have my set salary. It's comfortable. Comfortable is always great, but comfortable is also not that great. So does it kill my ambition? It's kind of like lighting a fire on my ass. Sorry. It's kind of like lighting a fire. So yes, it's killing my ambition, but it's also like, whoa, D, you gotta do more.
It up.
Yeah. And you wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted more. 5 years ago, when I started working for this company, they had asked me twice to work for them, and I said no because I didn't want to do that. And then I was like, you know what? It's the pandemic. Let me just do it, and I'll do it for a couple of years. 5 years later, so it is not the goal I want to have. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love what I'm doing and supporting people. But I know I'm capable of more. So that's so not necessarily killing my ambition, but I would like to do more.
It's diverting it slightly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people struggle with that too in the corporate world. 9 to 5, W-2. I've had several guests here that have always said somewhat of the same thing when deciding to transition into something else, particularly something that they wanted to do, whether it was their own business or a family business or a side hustle.
Yeah.
There's always this like voice inside your head that says, just do it.
Yeah.
And it's colliding with that feeling of comfort and being able to say, okay, I'll just put that aside and work on that later. I don't think does everybody justice. You know, I think there is a level of risk in everything. And in life, if you don't pursue your passions and you're not doing things that you're drawn to, there's going to be regret. And I think there's collateral damage on both sides of the spectrum, you know. On one side is regret, and on the other side is like success. You're going to get worked either way. So why not shoot for the stars? I think it's a lot easier said than done, especially for working mothers and mothers who are raising a household, raising children, and then, you know, like we've had Daniela here on the show, and she's got 3 kids, multiple businesses, doing deals like hotcakes. And I'm like, how and where do you get energy to do that? Like a mother's work is never done. And I think it always surprises me when working mothers face all of these challenges and persevere. What has been the most surprising challenge for you as a working mother?
First off, I want to touch on Daniela and just motherhood in general is moms are badass.
Totally. 100.
So what impresses me the most is every mom that I know, whether they're stay-at-home moms or they're working moms, because staying at home mom is a working mom. Believe it or not, that's a hard job. I will say, like you said, it never ends. The fact that we have so much energy and it never ends. I like, even though I need coffee, I love coffee. I can find myself in the middle of the night, like I can wake up and do what I have to do. So that always surprises me, like just the amount of energy that I have and that I never give up, and that I keep moving forward. Even when like we do something out of nothing. So like one of the examples is, and this is such a silly example, like cooking, I can make something out of nothing. And it's stressful to cook. It's stressful to work 9 to 5 and then come home and have to figure out dinner every single night for the rest of my life. And one of the things is like, no matter what, we always have something in our back pockets as a mom. And I always feel like I make something out of nothing.
Do you have like a menu that you craft up?
You'd think that's a good idea, right?
I mean, I would just think the chaos, it sounds so chaotic to like bounce from environment to environment. And then you've got, hungry mouths and, grubby hands and, you've got a husband and now you come home and you have to like feed, and provide. I would think that systems and process would help with that, but I don't know. Like I've always, had so much, admiration and I've always had so much respect for working mothers. Cause my mom, she worked full time and took care of us, and was, nonstop. And I think that's where I got a lot of my work ethic from is my parents. Cause they were immigrants as well. And they came to this country just on fire. Granted, they weren't too smart with money and finances and strategy and investing, but they worked their shorts off. They were such hardworking people. Managing a household, managing a career, managing a creative business. What do you do for you? How do you keep it real?
I will say that I don't prioritize myself. That's like, that's something that a mom should be doing. So self-care is important. Self-care is always important, and let it be like working out, time for yourself. Journaling is a lot of things that a lot of people do journaling, reading a book or anything like that. While I do work out, taking my dog for a walk is a big one for me. I can just like put my headphones in, only one, because you're in San Francisco. You got to hear the cars coming. But I listen to music and I take my dog for a walk. And I think that is something I do for myself. Working out when I make the time for that, I think is something I do for myself. Something as, again, silly as like rolling down your windows and listening to music super loud on the freeway is something I do for myself. Because when I have my kid in the car, I cannot do that unless it's like Coco Melon, which no thanks. But like, yeah, so I would say something I do for myself is not as much as I should be doing. Who can quantify what I should be doing is like, a lot of people say like, you got to take care of yourself. I'm like, I don't know what that looks like. Yeah. But little things like that is what it looks like.
Or
is
like watching that show while you
watch. Yeah. So, so those are the things I kind of do for myself, even though I'm doing that while I'm taking care of my child, which is okay.
And Daniel Sam, he's just the kind of guy who would be like, yo, why don't you do this for yourself? And why don't you do that? Like you should, do you, like he seems like that kind of guy who's just so aware of you that I would imagine he'd probably push you. Like today, for instance, he's probably like, just go by yourself. Don't take any of us. Take some time for you. This partnership that we've had has been a lot of fun for me. Like working with you and Daniel has been such a treat because you're such heartwarming, amazing human beings. And I gravitate greatly towards that energy, particularly in business and partnerships. It's so important that there's a vibe there and that I like have a respect and a connection with folks that I do work with. You're working towards your license. I know he is too. What does real estate mean for you guys?
Well, yeah, actually Daniel is taking his test in a few days. So he's actually at home right now studying while taking care of the baby. And I'm working on my real estate license. Real estate for us is passage to like financial freedom. There's so much you can do with real estate. I know that he talked about transitioning from construction to real estate. And he said, I don't know if I needed construction to do real estate. And in my mind, and this is how I think, is you should learn how to do everything from start to finish so that you can do everything from start to finish. And maybe that's the hat I wear is I like knowing everything and every aspect of things, even if it's 5%. Even if you know 5% of something, it's better than knowing 0%. So like real estate is just a door or an avenue in which we can like be a little bit more financially free. It's exciting. Depends on what we do with it. So like we have properties and we're renting them out. And maybe there's some great tenants. We're providing housing for someone. Maybe it's a family. It's nice to know that. We had a few opportunities. The reason why we're getting our licenses, and sometimes you say, it's just a little too late. It's never too late. But we had opportunities where we could have sold houses, or we were in a situation where there was a house, like our neighbor's house. We could have helped support the sale of that, or even our family member who passed away. That house was kind of like a random realtor had to take over that because we didn't have our realtor's license, and care and love and support for those things would have been nice. So it's just like a little too late, but it's never too late to do something new. And honestly, I feel like the more hats you wear, the better. I think I sent it to you that I consider myself, and my LinkedIn says I'm a Jane of all trades, and I like wearing multiple hats. I like knowing a lot of things because like you can talk to more people that way. You connect with more people if you know a little bit more things.
I had a teacher growing up early on in my career who said that entrepreneurship, you wear multiple hats all the time when you start off. It's like you're a generalized specialist or a specialized generalist. And all of this talk that you see online, like, oh, you just got to focus on one thing and you only need one stream of income. And I think to a degree that's true. However, once you start getting into running a business from the ground up, you're going to find yourself wearing the accountant hat, the bookkeeping hat, the marketing hat, the sales hat, the CEO hat, the CFO hat. Like you're wearing all the hats. And at some point you begin to buy back your time and you bring in teams, which is your ability to scale. That's the superpower that I think an entrepreneur, like a really good one, begins to like that's the superpower that they begin to leverage. Like bringing in the right team to come in and do the work to help them bring value or to bring value into the team. So like this whole collective can accomplish things that, otherwise they wouldn't be able to do on their own, like big, great things. What excites you the most about investing and partnering in real estate? Like there's got to be something that you're just like really excited about.
Okay. You talk about multiple hats and like being able to hire on new people and networking. I was always the opposite of that. I want to do it all by myself because I want to learn it. Pile it on. And I never wanted to connect. I was like, I can do it and I'm awesome and I'm super confident and I can do this myself. I want to, of course, but it requires, and this is what Daniel taught me, through the last 14 years of us being together, is you need to bring in people to help you. And I will say that most exciting part, and yes, I want to have multiple properties because I want to have that financial freedom, but meeting new people and learning that concept of networking. The exciting thing, and one day I'll join you guys in the sub 2 community and go with you guys to these meetups. They're a little nerve-wracking because it's just like a lot of people that know a lot of things about real estate and I'm learning all that stuff. But the amount of power and knowledge there is with people is insane. And I'm learning that every single day with Daniel. I've always been the hesitant person because my mom always worked alone. Patrick worked alone. My brother and I worked together alone. So it's always nice to do something new and scary, and the new and scary for me is being able to network and kind of open up the door for more people to be to bring them in. Like there's a lot of knowledge. People are so smart, and when you find the right people that you can trust,
it's true.
It's like
it's game changing.
It is,
and the really cool part of it is we're all human, and we're all going through the same human problems, like there might be Dominique problems, there might be Diego problems, but there's a collective human problem. And that I think is imposter syndrome and other things that like limit your pure potentiality or your pure potential. So walking into these rooms, and I've seen it firsthand because we've been in these rooms and we've been coming to these rooms now with cameras, like putting these cameras on people, high level investors, like career real estate professionals, amazing rocket scientists, everybody in between. And they still don't, and everybody's still relatively new in terms of their ability to communicate and express themselves in front of a camera. And I think that level of vulnerability is prevalent no matter how good you are in whatever industry you're in. So I think you should absolutely come out and mingle, because I think you would provide so much value to, you know, growing businesses, and you have this ability to, I mean, logistics is really hard to do in any business, but the fact that you go charging at that says a lot about your mindset and who you are as a person. And now in terms of our partnership, you know, with Daniel, I know Daniel can speak to this, but you've been providing support for him, right? Like you guys have been kind of strategizing and looking at things, and, you know, looking at your books and kind of fine tuning and getting really tight with your business. What have been some of the challenges there for you guys, within this partnership, and, or just in general as a real estate investor? Cause it's not all peaches and cream and
It's not.
and roses like everybody says online. It's actually pretty freaking hard.
First off, trusting someone on both ends. So like us trusting you, you trusting us, in this dynamic of a partnership, me trusting Daniel into finding the right people to trust. I know trust is trust. I'm going to say trust is the number one most important thing. The investing that we do together as a partnership is not in California. So trusting the people and the partners we have elsewhere in different states. The partnership between Daniel and I is, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is communication. God, communication is so important. Clear communication. Let me be more specific. Clear communication is so important. I will say that there's always hiccups. Learning something new. Yes, we're all human. We are human. We all make mistakes. We all have regrets. We all have like, oh, I should have, and I could have, and dang it if I would have. But I would have loved to have been part of the conversation in the beginning. That's something that Daniel took on. And I had to pick up the pieces after a little while. I'm like, I had to understand this too. And so learning something new with Daniel and learning the partnerships that we have. I don't know if the question was a challenge. That was a challenge, is like trying to pick up the pieces. So conversation is important. Communication is important. Being able to pick up the pieces and like fit them together, which is adrenaline and great. But learning something new is so important. There is a learning curve. You know, there's so much I don't understand and I don't learn. And our friend, I don't know if you're familiar with Chat. We're on a first name basis. Chat GPT and I. You call him Chuck. My pal is Chat.
Charles.
Yeah, like we're pals, you know, and like using the resources that we have to like, resources are important. This is why I think it's important to also like network, because those are resources that like I don't have. So anyway, challenges are important. We face a lot of challenges. It's important to like talk, communicate, which is a challenge in itself. But also like learning something new, which is also adrenaline. It's so good to learn something new, and it's so good to open your eyes and new avenues to things. My partnership with Daniel and with you, I'm still learning. I literally am still learning every single day. Yeah.
So for those who are starting out and are getting into the space, it sounds like communication is key. Clear communication.
Yeah, clear.
So that's very different than just talking about, you know, the weather. Like you got to talk about very specific things. So intentionality and clear communication is really important for those who are starting. And then in that clear communication, stand-up meetings, maybe once a quarter, once a week, like you guys live together, work together, raise a family together. So you would think there's plenty of opportunity to talk. So how do you guys work in that dynamic where you can go, okay, because Katie and I go through this too. It's like, when is it time to turn the lights out? And just, you know, cuddle or be personal and talk about family or the kids. And then when is it, you know, time to turn the lights on and start, you know, getting after it?
I'm so glad you said this because this was a conversation Daniel and I had before I came here. Mm-hmm. I'm a big believer of writing things down. And when I write things down is Google Calendar. Mm-hmm. We Google Calendar things that are important. Let it be our meetings, let it be our family time, let it be so like calendars are so important. Scheduling time is so important. Are we good at it? No, we're learning. Are we great at it? I would hope so one day, but it's not today. Today is just a conversation like, hey, this is what we have to do. I don't know when it turns on and turns off because you have to schedule those things. I know that when mommy time is done is the kids are asleep, but now I have to pump. That's still mommy time. It's still mommy time when I have to clean up the mess that they've made or laundry. That's mommy time. But when is business time? And that's sometimes at midnight and sometimes it could be at 6 a.m. But it's important to schedule time. And it's important to communicate about the time that you need, and scheduling time. Scheduling time is how we make it work.
This show is a lot about wealth and wellness.
Yeah.
And I've asked everybody here like how they interpret those words or that phrase, like wealth and wellness. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to wellness? So, let's start with, what is your definition of wellness? What does wellness mean to you? And what are some non-negotiables in your world when it comes to wellness?
Wellness. When I think of wellness, I really think of like physical fitness, like feeling good, feeling well in your body. I will say diet, what you take in, although learning how to take in what's good for you right now. My body's transitioning from a lot of change. So really focusing on that. Fitness is so important, like moving your body. It doesn't have to be, let's go to the gym. Although a lot of people, their wellness is every morning at 6 a.m. I go to the gym. That's also their time. So like fitting in movement is wellness. Mental clarity is wellness. What you eat, of course, is wellness. That's the extent that I kind of define it.
Are there any non-negotiables there for your wellness identity or program?
I'm currently working on my wellness journey. So for me, like right now is like me time, carving out me time. That's like, that has to be a non-negotiable for me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to do that. That's like wearing so many hats and being a mom and, wanting more for my life. We all want more. I hope everyone wants more for themselves. We're never, even the wealthiest of people, need more in their life. But yeah, I want more for myself. And I think wellness and like non-negotiable should be me time.
What does wealth mean to you?
Dominique 6 years ago would say millions of dollars. Dominique today will say
trillions of dollars.
Truly, I mean, really, you can't get much in the Bay Area for $1 million. You need multiple millions for that. Yeah. Dominique today would say, I'm so wealthy. I have a house. I have a roof over my head. I have a family. I have a very supportive husband, 2 amazing children, one of which is a brand new baby. And I'm so rich because of that. And I have great groups of people like my family, my twin, my brother, my mom, and 2 of our closest friends that we can just like hang out with, and just that's wealth. Financial wealth, that's just like life wealth. Financial wealth, I would say like, yeah, savings account is great. My kids have like a 529 account. Great, that's wealth in its own way, but like really feeling like everyday fulfillment is wealth.
So that's actually a really nice topic that I'd like to kind of touch up on a little bit, because some people might not know what a 529 is. Could you kind of tell us a little bit about what that is and what sort of strategies you guys have in place for the kids?
Great. Well, we just started our 529 account 3 years later for one child. And as soon as our second was born, we were like, we have to do this. My brother-in-law is started one for our niece. And I was like, oh, we kind of need one. I don't know if my kids will go to college. College isn't for everyone, but at least we can start this account, which we used 529 account as a savings account that the beneficiary can use for education. Gotcha. But I think you can also take it out for first-time homeowners, for little to no fee.
And it's like a savings account on steroids, or how?
Yeah, when it comes to the details, I'm not that knowledgeable in as far as like how much it yields. I know that this was a higher yielding of the three that we had to choose from. We chose New York. There's New York, Utah, California. We chose New York because that one was a higher yielding one. As a Californian, we can do that. But so far, we've only put in like $200 in there. You can put in every single month, and then it just after several years, which for us 18 years. Hopefully it compounds into something.
Do you know if there's a max contribution level to the account?
Is
it like an IRA where you have like $7,000 that you can put into it annually or something like that?
I feel like in my mind I have 3,500, but I was looking at so many different things, and I'm also like with where I work, we also have maximum contributions for other benefits that we have. So I don't know for sure.
Got you.
Yeah. That is, this is new to me when it comes to stock options or IRA or investments. One of the new things, like one of the things I want to learn in my back pocket is another thing I want to learn, because that is also a huge, huge, awesome thing that you can leverage.
It's true.
That people we do not. Tell me why we don't learn this.
In school?
In school.
Well, because they want people to be employees.
Yeah.
They want you to, essentially become a sheep and not question the status quo and the system, so that those who have can continue to compound what they have, and those who have not continue to not have.
Yeah.
I think it's really clear why you don't hear about like life insurance contracts ever. It's interesting that the government limits the amount of advertising in that industry, because if you use life insurance as a means of creating legacy wealth, I mean, it could be really, really powerful, So I'm not, I did not learn any of this until probably about a decade ago or a little less, where it's like, whoa, well, why? I felt like I lost like 20 years, because I didn't know any better, or I wasn't in rooms and networking with people who taught me and showed me how to do things. It's like really interesting. Like once you start getting outside of your shell and like wanting to meet more people, because we all have imposter syndrome. We all have, self-doubt. We all think, that we're not good enough, or we want validation from those who have done it. But at the end of the day, if you don't attack that mindset, or if you don't do something about that, then you're going to be 80 years old and you're going to have a life full of regret, which has a lot of collateral damage with family and self-worth and all that stuff. So I'm not, and I think a big reason why we started this show is so that we can help inspire and empower entrepreneurs, investors, whether they're in real estate or construction, to ask questions, to be curious, to talk to people, to ask, or to like really push back on this narrative that we've all been taught. Because it's not only about like learning new things. I think it's about unlearning old things.
Yes,
like
totally.
Just all of this stuff that we're supposed to let go of, that we hold on to, generally gets in the way of our pure potential.
I totally. It's actually crazy that we're not taught the important things about life. Back in the day, not my day, but back in someone else's day, they used to teach women how to be wives, to cook and clean and iron. Not saying I don't know how to iron, but dang, I don't iron, but like the day that we met you, or the day I met you like completely, was when you talked about your life insurance and legacy, and that stuck with me. And that was a year ago. I have not yet done much with that, but every time I look at my benefits at work and I look at the life insurance I do have, I'm like, I need to leverage this, and I know there's a way. And it's like, I laugh. I always say I want to do everything under the sun. I want to do everything yesterday, which, by the way, is really hard to do. And it's being hard on yourself is not the right way to think about things. But being hard on yourself is also a good thing, because it kind of pushes you. But it's important to learn. That's why I like connecting with people. I would have never thought. And Daniel was so excited. He's like, you have to hear what Diego had to say about this. And I was like, that's awesome. And when in our relationship, I'm the financial person. So I was like, I need to learn this too. And while we have yet to really dig into that, I do think that it's so important. And I wish people taught more. Like, how do you if I didn't talk to someone like you, how would I know what to do? Like how do people do it? I don't understand.
I mean, I don't get it either, but I think there's a karma in life, and there's what God wants for you ultimately. And if you listen, and I think that's a really good lesson that I've learned in life, is to be a really good listener, not only to what people say, but how people behave, even little nuances, and like how the wind changes and how the sun moves, and being a protracted and thoughtful observer of life, you'll begin to recognize all these little signals. And there is divine timing. And I think there is this divinity that we all can tap into and tie into if we harness the magnetic energies of our heart. And then we orbit and begin to attract abundance, and we begin to change our mindsets. I think there has to be a push against everything that we're getting fed through social media, through the mainstream media, through government. I have always been one to question authority. I've always been one to say, well, why? You know, like a 5-year-old boy, like, we can't go to the park today, son. Well, why? Well, because you have to have your dinner. Well, why? Well, because you need to have like full tummy so you can go to bed ready. Well, why? You know, and it's like, I've always had this why. And I think unlearning is going to be really important for everybody that gets into, you know, this world of finance and investing and, you know, building legacy, because it's not taught in school, you know? Well, this has been really cool, Dominique. I've got some rapid fire questions I want to ask. So you can answer however short and long you like, but they're typically real quick little questions that I craft up for everybody. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, cool. The first one is, what was your first job?
Official job, floral designer.
And this wasn't Dosa Unique. This was
with Patrick's Floral Studios in Redwood City.
And how old were you?
15.
15.
15, okay. 16. Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool job for a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Favorite flower to design with?
Ooh, that's a great question. Orchids.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I learned something really cool about orchids, that the only, do you know what the only edible orchid there is?
Dendrobium.
Vanilla.
Get out. Is it really an orchid?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, vanilla, I should know this.
Yeah. I was like, I got fancy with it. I was like, I can't remember what I said. And then it was, oh yeah, duh, vanilla. I thought that was cool. Okay, you're a twin. So what is your twin superpower?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, she's going to look at this. She's like, oh my God, you don't know my superpower?
Like, you guys finish each other's sentences?
We do, actually. What is...
Telepathy?
Telepathy is... Yeah, I would definitely say that.
I believe it.
Yeah, she feels she'll know if she feels my pain, she'll call me. Yeah, when we need each other the most, we call each other.
Amazing.
Yeah, I guess that is a really cool super. I was thinking like, oh, being a stay-at-home mom, that's her superpower. But yeah, telepathy.
What is your dream vacation?
Lebanon will always be my dream vacation. If you've never been to Lebanon or never heard of Lebanon, small country in the Middle East, nightlife is amazing. Beach and skiing is literally 30 minutes apart from each other. Oh, wow. And the weather is always amazing.
Sounds like California.
Nightlife is a little better though.
One thing motherhood taught you that business never could.
Enjoy the moment. Like, you never get that moment back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you a morning person or are you a night owl?
Night owl. Yeah. I'll wake up early if I have to.
What about Danny?
Morning.
Yeah.
Totally morning. If he could sleep at 8:30, he would.
He's like me. Okay. How about real estate or retail therapy?
Real estate. I'm not a shopper. Yeah.
I was thinking about your comments about medical cannabis and how you were helping medical patients. I thought there might be something maybe leaning towards helping people, helping patients. but real estate's super powerful. You can really help
Yeah.
as well in that space. I'm really excited about this question. Favorite Lebanese dish?
Fattoush, which is a salad.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
I mean, lebne as well, which is kefir cheese, which is so good. But fattoush, my mom makes it every weekend, and it's so phenomenal. And by the way, you eat that with your hands, not a fork. It tastes different.
Wow. Fattoush.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a quote or a mantra that you live by?
I was actually going to mention this earlier. Eat the Frog. It's a book by Brian Tracy, and every single day I try to eat the frog. And if those who don't know what that is do the worst task you need to do.
The hardest.
Yeah. So
first.
So I always actually, yeah, when I wake up, I'm like, what's my frog today? I try to eat the frog.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Amazing. Thank you for being here, Dominique.
Thank you so much for having me.
Is there anything else you want to add or say?
I mean,
while we're here?
I mean, honestly, like if it was okay for me to ask you, like, how do you balance everything that you have going on? I know that's like a little towards the end here, but
I mean, how do I balance everything? I try and integrate as much as I can. So I don't try and put things in there. I don't try to separate everything. I try and like put everything together. So, like for instance, running a home-based business, I was doing that like well before it was cool, like well before COVID. This was like 15 plus years ago. I wanted to have my business and my home and my family and my friends and everything in a central location that supported health and wellness and financial growth, So like I wanted to have all my friends work together with me. I wanted to have my family close, like my son. So I was a single parent raising my son, and he would always like, I couldn't do the daycare. It's like, you're going to be going to the University of Life, kid, and we're going to both major in direct experience. So let's hop in the truck and let's go to work and let's go hang out. So he was with me 24/7, which I'm so happy I did. And so I've been able to like integrate my business and my personal lives in a way that feels harmonious. And I'm not having to like, it doesn't feel like I'm having to juggle, it's like, it's all part of one holistic bubble or orb that I've grown over the last 15 or 20 years. So I don't know if I really resonate with balance. I like harmony. I like integration. I like holism more. That allows, that kind of brings about for me a mindset where I can wake up in the morning and feel like I'm not having to be pulled in 8 different directions. And if like Ben needs, a ride, it's like, cool, let's go. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I can't give you a ride today, buddy. It's like, no matter what, family, friends, this craft, this expression comes first. And that to me is wealth and wellness, being able to create a supportive network and group and community that promotes, overall well-being for everything and for everybody. And I've used permaculture quite a bit as like as a mindset or as a perspective in life, where the ethics of permaculture are earth care, people share, and fair share, or the return of surplus. And then the 12 principles of permaculture, they range from, many hands make light work, stacking functions, having multiple elements be supported by multiple functions, community integration, governance, finance, like just all of what permaculture to me, when I learned about permaculture as a young 20-year-old, was kind of like, whoa, this is unlike anything I've ever read or seen. And the way they the way the methodology promotes health and wellness within so many different aspects of humanity is like, well, like I want to apply that to my world. And so, along with some other land-based methodologies, I've also kind of transcended those into, business and family life and the household. And it's, it's been something that like deeply resonates with me, and, another big reason why I started this is to kind of like speak to that.
Yeah. Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cause I know that you have so many things under your belt, which is really inspiring. In case you didn't know, you inspire people. But one of the things that I was thinking about a few days ago was like, first off, how the heck do you do it? Because like wearing so many hats, I always thought you have everything balanced, which I really like that you don't use the word balance. Did you ever work for corporate or like, so you just like from the get-go was just, so what made you start, what was your like kickoff? Like, what did you do? How did you start? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no,
because you do a lot.
That's a great question. I've always been a hustler since a kid. Like I've always sold baseball cards or was the first to put out all my stuff at the garage sale. Like I always wanted to do a deal. I always was a negotiator and a dealer as a kid. I know my parents can speak to that for sure. And then, over the course of working for others, I just found a lot of injustice in their business and it was just really interesting. The employee mindset, would see people show up late, and when they show up, they'd steal and then they'd, leave early. And that like never really resonated with me. So I always wanted to create something for myself. And so I think a big reason why I just went all in is, having Ben, that was like when you said, when you started your business on your birthday, it's like I started my business on his birthday. And that like, it was a lot, it was very sentimental. And I think a big reason why I've, struggled to scale Circlefoot, this business, to, a 10-figure company, because I want to protect it like it's my child. I want to make sure that whomever is in it and working with it is giving it the same amount of respect and love that I have over the years. So I've been kind of yo-yoing a little bit there, but, I've been getting out of this mindset and ultimately have been okay handing off particular tasks and batons to individuals that are doing things way better than I could ever do. So, back to your question, I think there was this feeling inside of me that there has always been more, and I've always been one to like do something and then ask questions later. Like I'm the one who's going to just jump out of the plane and then build a parachute on the way down, 'cause I'm that big of a knucklehead. That I've learned that actually that is a superpower, that I can take actions and allow my feelings to catch up, which I think has put me in front of a lot of other people who ended up getting analysis paralysis. Like there's just too much. And I think I saw my father do that a lot, where he would overanalyze too much and kind of hold off. And I'm just like, no, let's just go. So I've been able to build out and grow so much by staying extremely organized. And so when you spoke to the calendar, I like perked up, because without lists and calendars and a proper organizational framework, and you're doing many things, if you're not extremely organized, like I'm saying hyper organized, where you have a folder and then a manila folder with another folder, and it's all labeled and color coded. And if you don't have that sort of militant organization in your workflow, that ability to compartmentalize, you're going to be so scatterbrained and you're going to be dropping so many different balls. So creating a system and having that system be very, very tight has allowed me to do many different things at once. And as I grew that, I began to replace my time with those who do it better than me. So now I have an amazing executive assistant who like takes on the majority of my calendar, that takes on the majority of the communications. Like, it's just like, whoa, that one rung, that bottom rung of the replacement ladder has allowed me to focus on so much more. So I think, attention to detail, attention to organization, getting help, having a system, and having accountability to that system. So if people aren't, even myself, like, and this is really hard, I think, for folks, is to follow through with the promise that you had made with yourself and others. You're only going to be getting closer to that, that big jug of gold at the end of the rainbow. You know what I mean?
And I know that you find people that you trust and you can work with, but you have a standard.
Yes.
So how do you, like, what happens when someone doesn't meet your standard?
I've learned now to have zero expectations. By having zero expectations, if there isn't somebody that fulfills those expectations, well, then I mean, or anything to that degree, then I sleep better at night. I think having a standard operating procedure and a standard way of doing things is that system of accountability. Then we're all having to be held to that system and that standard operating procedure or that standard way of doing something. So it's simple now. It's like, well, if we all don't collectively bring value to that system, and if somebody doesn't do their job or ultimately come with value, then what are you doing here? And I've been through so many knuckleheads that I've learned now to be like, okay, I built a system. Here's the standard. If you don't meet it, well, then there's the door. Like, you can walk away, and I'm totally okay with that. So that zero expectation of me thinking that people are going to come and rise up to the standard allows me to sleep better at night. And I just relinquish power to the system now instead of like my feelings, which, starting a family business from scratch based on the birth of your child is really hard to do. You know what I mean? So,
well, yeah. Thank
mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really something, because it's hard to trust people. It's hard to manage expectations for people. No one's going to love your business as much as you do.
It's true.
But I do think that people, like when I work, Daniel always tells me, you put your job first. I'm like, I'm going to put 100% in everything I do,
mm-hmm.
because
mm-hmm.
that's the standard I have for myself.
Yeah.
When people say, oh, you can't, it's not your company, you shouldn't put 100% into it. I'm like, but it's my time and my integrity. So
yeah,
it kind of is me. It's my personality.
That speaks to me so much.
Yeah. It's like your character. Like, how do you trust someone if they're not willing to put 100% even in something that isn't theirs? I will always I have expectations for people. If you're going to be like working with me, I would like for you to like do your best,
mm-hmm.
not just
mm-hmm.
do the minimum and get paid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do my job just to do the minimum and get paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's a benefit.
Totally. But being okay if they don't meet the mark, as long as you meet the mark for yourself, that is the most important, I think, because for me, if I break a promise to myself, or if I don't make the mark, I've learned how to like work that muscle out to the point where if I have that voice in my head that says like, oh, sleep in, or, oh, like, I'm not going to show up for that client, or, oh, I'm like, that is my signal to go all in 110%. And that's a muscle. You have to work on that, and you have to really take time and energy and be intentional with growing that muscle. And I think of Kobe Bryant, his level of work ethic and his level of standard was so much higher than anyone around him that after just simply compounded time, he has now created a massive gap between himself and his constituents or his counterparts or his teammates or his opponents. And that really resonates with me a lot, because I ultimately want to become 10.0 Diego. I've just recently decided to make that when I turned 40. And prior to that, I always thought, well, maybe, good enough is just good enough, and good enough is not good enough for me. It needs to be great. And I strive for greatness. And I really love Lewis Howes' podcast, The School of Greatness, because he brings in all of these amazing individuals and he asks them like, what does greatness mean to you? And I think greatness to me greatness for me is that level of standard, that promise that you make to yourself that you never break, no matter what, whether it's your husband, your wife, your child, your mother, your father, your business partner. Having that level of self-care that's nearly militant self-care is my definition of greatness.
Mic drop.
Boom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask you another question
Absolutely.
about self-care?
Yeah,
I mean, if we have the time, but yeah. What does self-care look like to you?
Self-care to me is empathy and compassion for oneself, being okay with your imperfections and your blemishes and your story, because not everybody is coming from, golden sheets of cloth and, ivory, homesteads. Like there's, and you spoke to this earlier, which I really resonated with. It's like, we all have a dose of unique. What's funny is that's what makes us the same. Because all of us are human, and we all have this humanness that if we tap into deeply, and I spoke to the magnetic energy of the heart, if we're able to really harness our pure potential and our ability to manifest and grow as a person, as a human, it's amazing what sort of magic occurs. So for me, self-care is self-love, empathy, compassion for the good, the bad, and the ugly, knowing that everything's impermanent. So there's nothing that's going to stay the same in life. There's going to be seasons. There's going to be chapters. It's like clouds in a windy sky. They come and go. Being okay with that is self-care to me. And then mindset, muscles, physical, mental, exercising those on a daily basis is self-care. If you exhaust the body, you'll tame the mind. If you continue to do the work, you will see gains. It might not be overnight, but if you stay consistent, I guarantee you good things will happen. So if you have good intentions, good things generally follow. Self-care to me, in the spiritual realm is important because there's a greater energy in life. There's a higher power in the universe. And if we're tuned to that energy and we practice and cultivate a relationship with that energy, I think it's really important from a self-care perspective. And to extend yourself into discomfort. So like do things that you don't want to do, that you want to do. You want to do it, but for some reason you're not doing it. By doing it, that's a level of self-care. So it could be anything. It's like I wanted to jump off of an airplane when I was 18 years old and go skydiving.
Did you?
It's just an example. I just bungee jumped. That was pretty scary for me. I was like, I want to go bungee jumping. Skydiving is a whole nother level. Not yet.
I will say I did. I have skydived with my brother and my sister.
That must have been
Exhilarating. And when you're jumping out of a perfectly great plane, you think, what the heck am I doing? And all you do is look at the horizon because you'll never experience that moment anymore. I will never do that again, especially as a mom now.
Yeah.
But I will say, while I'm not telling people to go jump out of the plane, jump out of that plane, the metaphorical plane. Like it's going to be okay. Like unless it's going to hurt you physically or kill 100%. You, money comes back. Yep. Money comes and goes. You can make it. If you've made it before, you can make it again. People are very competent and they're not tapping into the risk and the unknown. This is why I keep driving, trying to want to do more, because I'm capable of more. I was made to make more. I have a brain. I have a body. I'm very, very well. I have a great team, like my husband, my kids, my sister. We have my sister, my brother-in-law, my brother, like you. There's so many people in your life that you can leverage knowledge and people are so much, you can do so much and people are just so scared. I'm scared. But like,
me too.
Take off the Band-Aid. Like it's going to like, you're not, unless you're hurting yourself physically, it's not that, life is not that serious. And when you're 80, and I knew someone who reached 102, by the way. Wow. And that was an impressive thing because not only did he live through World War II, wow. He got to tell us about a lot of his life in the 1920s, not 2020s. Mm-hmm. And that is like such an amazing eye opener, is because life is not that serious. Things come in, you talk about seasons, mm-hmm. things come in rotation. It always comes back. Fashion comes back, problems come back. Drama is very similar. We're all human. History repeats itself, and you can be on one side of history or the other, but like, just push through, mm-hmm. And just do it. Just act. And I know that we always talk about the Nike. Is it Nike that says just do it? But like, just do it.
But just do it. It's
what's simple. The worst thing that's gonna happen?
Simple. It's really simple.
If you have to, like, if you lose all your money, you can always go back and work, mm-hmm. make something. Like, mm-hmm. it's not that serious. You should take it seriously, but life is not that serious. Yeah. And this is just me reminding myself as well, because I have to remind myself that it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
If you ever do want to jump out of a plane, though,
you got it.
I know someone. Although I heard Dubai is the perfect place to do it, but make sure the parachute opens.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh gosh, never again.
Yeah,
never again.
Cool, awesome. Thanks, Dominique.
Thank you.
This has been great. Another episode of the Wealth and Wellness Report, you guys. If you like the show, click the subscribe button below. Dominique, how can folks find you?
You can follow my handle, which is Dose of Unique, or Dominique in SF with underscores between them. So it depends which one you want to go with.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thanks Diego.
Everybody. See you on the next one.